2013 marks the 50th year since Dr. Ernesto Contreras Sr. and his wife Rita Contreras opened the Oasis of Hope Hospital. The Oasis of Hope story began decades before it opened its doors in 1963. Ernesto Contreras was born in Guadalajara, Mexico, on June 1, 1915. His father, Manuel, and his mother, Carmen, were raising him along with his siblings Ana Maria, Manuel, Javier, Carlos, and Carmelita. After losing everything during the Mexican Revolution, they relocated to Mexico City, where his mother would support the family as a government school teacher and his father would die at age 44. Ernesto first loved music and poetry, but one of his uncles urged him to apply for one of 20 spots in the military medical school. His uncle purchased French medical books for Ernesto, so he had to simultaneously learn the language and study medicine. Ernesto successfully passed the entrance exam, beating out of 180 other candidates. He was admitted to the Mexican Army Medical School and graduated with honors in 1939 with the rank of second lieutenant. At the ceremony, he had the honor of receiving the flag directly from Mexico's president, Manuel Ávila Camacho. Soon thereafter, he would meet the love of his life, Rita Pulido. They would be married and have 6 children together: Estela, Evangelina, Ernesto, Rita, Francisco, and Ana Maria. Ernesto specialized in pathology and oncology. As part of his specialization, he was privileged to go to Harvard's medical school and do a fellowship in pediatric pathology at Boston's Children's Hospital. Through all of his studies, he became concerned with all the unnecessary surgeries he was detecting while studying tissue samples. This inspired him to begin consulting patients. In 1955, in addition to his military service, Ernesto was given the opportunity to practice pathology in a private laboratory in Tijuana, as well as Mercy Hospital and the University of California San Diego Hospital. He moved his family to Tijuana to pursue these new opportunities. He also became the co-founder of the Association of Pathologists and the Association of Oncologists in Mexico. He was well on his way to an illustrious career. His wife Rita was by his side, helping him every step of the way. He had already been practicing medicine for 24 years when a woman named Cecile Hoffman walked into his office in July 1963. Everything changed from that first consultation forward. Cecile had breast cancer and had been receiving the alternative treatment Laetrile in a small clinic in Montreal, Canada, that she and her husband had read about in a pamphlet called Laetrile, Control for Cancer. She had become so weak that she could not walk and suffered from extreme pain. She was no longer able to travel to Canada and looked for an option closer to home. She found out about Dr. Contreras from her pastor in El Cajon, California. She asked Dr. Contreras to treat her with Laetrile. He agreed under the condition that he would discontinue treatment if he observed any adverse effects. Cecile would come daily to his office for an injection. In addition, Dr. Contreras treated her with high concentrations of vitamin A, vitamin C, proteolytic enzymes, and a special diet. By October of 1963, just 3 months after starting treatment with Dr. Contreras, she was cleared of cancer, and Oasis of Hope was born. Cecile would dedicate the next 6 years of her life to helping people find alternative cancer treatments, and thousands of people found their way to Oasis of Hope because of her tireless work. Cecile passed away in 1969, but not before expressing her gratitude to Dr. Contreras and encouraging him to continue the great work he had started. As more and more people found their way to Oasis of Hope, Mrs. Rita Contreras went to work. She first converted their house into hospital rooms. Later, she would construct their first hospital, outpatient center, and living units for patients to stay in. At different points during the Oasis of Hope history, each of the Contreras children and their spouses would participate in the business. Dr. Contreras' 2 sons, Ernesto Jr. and Francisco, would both become oncologists, and in the mid-1980s would help their parents build the modern facility that is the Oasis of Hope today. Through all of the changes, construction, change in leadership, and advances in medical protocols, the essence of what Dr. Ernesto Contreras Sr. set out to do never changed. Oasis of Hope is more than a health institution. It began as a love story between a doctor, his God, and his patients. Dr. Contreras used many types of alternative cancer treatments, but the most powerful healing agent was always love. Love birthed compassion and concern for the well-being of the patient, which drove Dr. Contreras and his medical staff to look for the most effective treatments while minimizing negative side effects. Love caused Dr. Contreras to focus on the patient's quality of life instead of tumor destruction. For 50 years, Oasis of Hope has been caring for the whole person, body, mind, and spirit, sharing the healing power of faith, hope, and love, and advancing medical science to heal one patient at a time. Dr. Contreras put this mission into practice as he integrated cancer treatment with natural medicine, emotional healing, and spiritual care. He would be a physician in the mornings, examining patients, writing medical protocols and prescriptions. In the afternoon, he would be a counselor to do laughter therapy and music therapy. On Sundays, he would be a pastor that would preach and pray for his patients. Dr. Contreras Sr.'s favorite song was The Family of God, because he embraced each patient as a new member of the family. Today, the physicians continue to treat patients like family members, and they make a healing partnership for life. Oasis of Hope provides the Contreras total care approach by integrating conventional cancer treatment with alternative cancer treatment and education. The goal is to put a person in the best position for healing to occur. Every day, the Oasis of Hope pastor shares devotions and leads patients in a time of praise and worship. A little later in the day, there are education and group sessions to help patients and companions manage stress and learn how to live a cancer-free lifestyle. Daniel Kennedy Contreras does noetic therapies and teaches people how to boost the immune system through effective stress-reducing interventions. Rosa Contreras Tesada teaches patients about healing foods and gives cooking classes which the patients really enjoy. Dr. Francisco Contreras teaches about the Contreras Metabolic Integrative Therapy and facilitates questions and answer sessions to help patients understand that they can do many things to improve their health. Jorge Alvaradejo utilizes characters he has created, such as Miguel Jackson and Mexican Elvis, to help patients manage stress through laughter. Every week, our former patient, Rick Hill, who is in his 40th year of being a cancer victor, comes and teaches patients how to cook and shares his personal story, which is very hope-building. Gaston Tesada and Lolita Miranda train patients on how to continue to live healthy when back at home. The secret of Oasis of Hope's success is more than one ingredient. First, Dr. Contreras and his wife established Oasis of Hope to be a place of healing where Jesus Christ would always be recognized as the great physician and the healer, and where doctors, nurses, and staff would be the hands of God to bless and the arms of God to hug and hold patients. They invited the Holy Spirit to work freely in the lives of patients and staff. They wanted the light of Christ to shine so that Oasis of Hope would become a beacon of hope. Another success ingredient is that at Oasis of Hope, the patient is the most important person that deserves to be treated with caring and competence. This commitment to the patient's well-being was behind all of the research that resulted in cancer treatment protocols that have provided results superior to other treatment centers. In 2012, the Townsend Letter for Physicians published the 5-year results of a prospective clinical study with patients that had stage 4 cancers of the breast, ovarian, lung, and colon. Oasis of Hope was able to demonstrate success rates that were 100 to 900% better than the national averages. Another reason why Oasis of Hope has been able to help so many people is because of different people who championed truth and became powerful patient advocates. Doctors like Leigh Aaron Connolly, James Campbell, Gary Gordon, Lee Cowden, and many more have shared the truth of holistic medicine. Many patient right advocates have stood in the gap, such as Lorraine Rosenthal, who has worked steadfastly for more than 40 years. Her organization, the Cancer Control Society, provides the general public with education on many different cancer treatment alternatives. Frank Cousineau helped Lorraine for decades and is the president of both the Cancer Control Society and the International Association of Cancer Victors and Friends. Satsuki Konishi, through her organization MN Japan, has helped people in Japan and Asia find alternative cancer treatment. Mr. Shimamura and his members of Wing Company have helped tens of thousands of people prevent cancer and learn about Oasis of Hope and alternative cancer treatments. The list goes on. The most important group of people that make up Oasis of Hope history are the patients and their family members. Countless stories continue to be told around the world of people who could not find help to overcome cancer and were led to Oasis of Hope. At this 50-year milestone in the history of Oasis of Hope, we take a moment to thank God for His love, favor, blessing, and provision. We take a moment to salute the brave, our beloved patients. We acknowledge all of the physicians and advocates that have supported us for decades. And we say, now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.